Games Gathering. Great that all of you can be here today. So I want to tell you that pixel art is actually an art movement, and that it's the art movement of restrictions. And we will go into the philosophy, into the big thoughts behind it, and why we are doing it. So I got a really nice introduction. We don't need to talk a lot about me. Yeah, I made a lot of games. I'm specialized in pixel art. I am having a lot of medieval stuff on my Twitter if you're into that. But for today, let's talk just about pixel art. So at first, the creation of the pixel. So today, when we think about pixels, we think about something which is very different from when they first were conceived. And the oldest patent, which goes back to what can be seen as a pixel, is in 1884. So that's a really long time ago, and that was for an electronic microscope. But the whole idea of pixel art actually started with the Xerox Barlow lab, and they researched computer graphics. So there was a Dale Goldman, and they basically started on working on guides for the first computers, and they needed a new way to get graphics on the screen. So they came to the conclusion that raster graphics would be really good, and they called this phenomenon, what they created, pixel art. So, and they came up with the term. And they wrote a book in 1983, but the first mention goes back to 1982. And in that book, Smalltalk 80, they had slides like this. So it was like really programming focused. So, and it was a one color system, and they had programming instructions on how to transform images, how to scale images, how to rotate images, how to draw lines, how to do all that programming stuff, and they called it pixel art. And the way how they called it pixel art and the way how we perceive pixel art today, it changed really a lot. And even like from the first patents, where the first picture elements or pixels were used, which were made from light, changed already to this point where this was mentioned a lot. So like with the time, the concepts changed. So, and as this was the first time published, they were working on machines which looked like that. So that was a single color. The pixels were dots of light. They were really blurry. You could see it like they would go into each other. It was like very different from what we see as a pixel today. I mean, we think of it as a square with sharp edges. And the most important thing is they are on a grid. So it's like a rectangular grid, and the pixels, they make, oh, okay, we lost the slide. The pixels are on a grid. That means if the pixels align horizontal and vertical, we can't see any pixel steps, then it will make something which is like lines. But if pixels are clustered together in a shape, that shape you can't see inside, you can't see that grid anymore. And whenever you have a line which is not exactly horizontal or exactly vertical, you will see that staircase effect. So back then, from when the coin pixel art was coined, when the term pixel art was coined, it was just art made from pixels. And today we look at it and we ask ourselves, is art made from pixels actually pixel art? So yeah, pixels looked like that. Later, pixels looked like that on colored CRTs, so they looked really different. And probably you remember, like here on the mouse pointer, that those points would blend into each other and they would make effect similar to pointillism. And a lot of you probably have played on some old consoles on your CRT in the living room, and pixels look like that. And today, the resolution just skyrocketed, and pictures look like that. It's a mountain at my place at home. So yeah, but if you zoom in like 10 times zoom, you still see the pixels, they are blending into each other and you can't see it, but you know, like at the modern screen, it's sharp. So the term that pixel art is art which is made from pixels doesn't really cut it anymore. So there needs to be more to it. And yeah, the pixels changed. So the next logical step, a lot of people are jumping into, yeah, pixels became really popular with games. So, and there is like all that advertisement going on with nostalgia. So pixel art is not nostalgia for old games, despite many people jump to that conclusion. So definition of nostalgia, if anybody knows. Cambridge Dictionary says, the nostalgia is a feeling of pleasure and also slight sadness at the same time as you think about things that happened in the past. So now we could think about pixel artists are just people who are really sad that all those old consoles and all those old screens went by and they are sitting really sad in their office and then they look back and say, oh yeah, it was really great back then, but I wasn't alive at that time, and so many others weren't alive at that time, but there are games right now which cling back to nostalgic values. But the question here is, do those games cling back to the pixel art, or do they just cling back to generally old games, old game design, and they want to capture more? So I generally would argue, yeah, they use pixel art, and it's similar, but there are restrictions on old consoles. So today the only restriction we got is like the screen resolution. We still can't change that. Right now it's 4K HD, but at the old time we had like the restriction for the screen resolution. We had restrictions for colors, we had restrictions for how many sprites there could be on the screen. We had like a lot of RAM restrictions on the machine. It was just much harder to get something done on the computer because they were much more limiting. And if you think of the nostalgia and creating those pixel art things, they also had to include the tech into this. So, and a lot of those modern retro games, they don't take all those restrictions into account, and they are not really sad about that they don't have those restrictions anymore. So, and the next thing, technology. So this is the same image which I have on an old CRT and I have on a modern screen. And if you look at that, we suddenly start to see, oh, it looks completely different. So how the picture was intended, on this side, we have the big scan lines, which are hiding a lot of the sharp edges. Everything blurs together differently. The CRT technology produced the light on the screen in a different way. So the whole color balancing of that image was really different. The whole blending of colors was completely different because CRTs had like a slight analog element where the dots would blend into each other. And also you wouldn't have like manual anti-aliasing between the lines of the screen because nobody would see it. And depending on the video signal, it would be better or worse. So, I mean, there's better quality than this, there's worse quality than this, but generally the gist of it is the output of the same graphic of a retro game and the same graphic on a modern screen, it's just so completely different. So, back then, the artists who did pixel art, they optimized their art for CRT screens. And they used the CRT in a way to really get the most out of it. So they used this analog element to create texture, to create chiaroscuro, to create a lot of color play with it. And if you look at the same image today on a modern screen, like with the skeleton, they didn't even use like straight lines on the sword, that it looks really checked and really detailed. On the modern screen, it just looks like the line is not really clear. Then the shield, it grows out of the darkness. It looks a lot more dangerous. On a modern screen, it's just, but there, you see everything. Where on the old screen, the scan line implies a lot more detail. On the modern screen, you really see the shapes clearly. Also, the image is a lot brighter, so it's super different. On the ogre, like on the cloth, where we have in the modern screen like all those tiny shapes which don't even say us anything. On the old screen it would just blend together, and the analog parts of the light and how it interacts, it would create like that realistic feeling of the cloth. So, and this is where like the approach of that retro pixel art and modern pixel art really goes apart. Next thing, video signals. So those artists, they were really good at what they did, and they knew that their graphics would blend, that the CRT would blend. So they even used that for their art. That's of Sonic 2. So where they created a lot of vertical lines in the art, it would blend together and make a transparent effect. And they used it for light cones. If we make modern pixel art today to get that effect with like the hard pixels, if we just say, no, we won't use transparency because old games didn't use transparency, they created it just with the screen. So that's kind of eye-opening that a lot of those old pixel artists, they just use the output medium. And we could argue that since the screen technology changed that much from CRT to LCD, that the whole approach to pixel art also changed. Next thing about nostalgia, we look at those old games and we ask ourselves, so what did they want to do? And we look at interviews, and you can listen to a lot of them. I listened to a lot of them over the last years. There are really great GDC talks, and there are really a lot of really great other sources and interviews, written interviews in magazines. And you start looking at those old games and you question yourself, what did the people really want to create? So, really famous example, Prince of Persia. It was by Jordan Mechner, and this game, like, he gave a GDC talk, and he said, yeah, he was filming his brother, and he was rotoscoping him. Rotoscoping is a really good technique for animation, but he did it because he wanted to achieve a really high level of realism. So, and the game became like, that kind of game became known as cinematic platformer. Like there was Flashback, there were a lot of other games which used that. But he did that because he wanted to have realism. Then an era came along with fighting games where they used photographies and other media, like they took pictures with cameras and they downsampled them. The most popular example for this is Mortal Kombat. So a lot of people say, yeah, that probably is pixel art, but they also were after creating the most realistic image they have, and they created it like with a photography technique. And they just resampled it and they put it out on the medium. Probably a lot of you know that game. It's a small little game by Rareware. And they even bought 3D computers. And they made 3D models, and they downsampled the 3D models to put it out on the hardware, on the screen, to have like something which is really well shaded. And they used like that computer-generated light, made it into sprites, and they called this then, yeah, I mean, a lot of people would say, yeah, that's pixel art because it's made from pixels. But they also were like, we want to have like that realistic lighting in our game. That's why we buy those really expensive machines. And if you look like at the basis of what a lot of those games want to do, it's a simulation of reality. And a simulation of reality is if your core goal of creating the art is you want to have a realistic picture. So it doesn't matter what your restrictions on that system are. You are after the most realistic representation of anything given. So, and if your system is bad and you have those pixels and the output looks like pixel art, you are still after the simulation of the reality, and that's technically driven. Like, if you wouldn't have those restrictions, you would probably do something which is like today photogrammetry. But it's just in terms of the approach of what a lot of pixel artists nowadays want, are completely opposite. So what we can say is like pixel art is not the nostalgia for the old games, because we can define pixel art first and foremost with its own beliefs and values. The art now and then. The output medium changed. It looks completely different. It's just a whole different look, a whole different feel to it. There are a lot different techniques to it. And the visual goals of a lot of retro games and the modern games which use pixel art, they just differ at the fundamental level. And the next thing I already touched on is there are hundreds of pixel artists, and they are like 12, 16, they get in touch with pixel art, they really like it for something else, they never played any of those old games, so they can't be nostalgic for that because they never got in touch with it years earlier. So, and it's still really strong and it's really driving, so there must be something else at the heart of it which gets people into it. So, don't let's misunderstand pixel art. And under misunderstanding pixel art, that's what happens if you don't consider like the basic values and the basic things the art does. And we see that in a lot of productions today where people go and improve pixel art. So one example would be Chrono Trigger. So in 2018, Square Enix released Chrono Trigger on Steam, and they improved the game with a bilinear filter. So they didn't went to the lengths to really emulate the scanline and to really emulate like the look that game had, to have it like true to what it looked on the original screen. They just took the game, emulated it, slapped a bilinear filter on it, said, okay, yeah, the game is now better looking because it has higher resolution, and now it's better than the original, and it's like our remake. And I mean, the internet really jumped on of that, and there were like a ton of memes. A ton of games did that, probably you have seen that. Vanilla. HD texture pack. So we see like the high resolution, we see the borders. It's like there were tons of memes like that going around in the internet, so something probably was not really right. And then there is another thing we see really with pixel art, and it's like probably also by Square Enix, Octopath Traveler, where people take like the pixel art and they combine it with 3D. And this is a good way. This is cool, but it's like misunderstanding the value and the core of pixel art. I mean, this is mixed media technique. So this is rooted in 3D. It can look really gorgeous. A lot of people really like the look of it. I'm not saying this is bad or anything. I'm just saying if you improve pixel art with more, with lighting, with shading, with everything, you get like to a point where you probably didn't understand in the first place what the whole thing is about. So, yeah, I will get to that. Let's talk about art forms we consider as similar to pixel art. And we need to look at the core goal of the art and at the core principle of the art, and we need to understand those art forms to really understand what they are after. And the core principles which play into pixel art, they are as old as humankind. 400,000 years ago, prehistoric man put the first differently colored rocks in the ground and made a pattern of it. And they wanted to like create a beautiful pattern, and so they put it in the ground. And then a lot of people know like mosaics, UNESCO World Cultural Heritage. A lot of those artworks, they are protected. They are seen as cultural heritage of humankind. In the medieval time, cross-stitch came up, and a lot of people, they were decorating like clothes with patterns. They were making pictures from patterns. Cross-stitch is really similar to pixel art. It uses a grid, but the single stitches, they don't flow together. They don't make like a solid pattern. Mosaics, they don't have a grid. They also don't have color restrictions. Then pointillism came across, and pointillism is like the technique where you just put dots on the canvas and you have a perception play. If you are close, you see all the single dots. If you are far away, you just see the image. And Like you can have 3 or 4 colors, and at the end, if you are far away, you see all that more detail. And a lot of people really jumped onto pointillism. It's in museums now. So this is similar to pixel art. And cell animation was invented in 1915. A lot of you will know Snow White. So one of the core features of pixel art is that it can be animated. And in cell animation, we have like flat planes of colors with probably an outline, and they're moving along. And they also didn't really want to create a realistic picture. They wanted to create motion. They wanted to create animation. And I mean, a lot of people say the quality of this animation is unmatched until today. So, and we also have like in pixel art, we have like the traditional principles of 2D animation, which are really strong, frame per frame. And if we look at all those things, they are all similar to pixel art, but they all also differ in a lot of core things with pixel art. So none of those has like the unique mixture and the unique match of like a grid, that the colors blend together, that you limit yourself with the colors, that you just use the dots, that you have like the perception play. So those are all similar. Pixel art is its very own thing. And we come to the beliefs. What does a pixel artist really think of? And the way of the pixel is that pixel art is not at all concerned with hiding its digital nature. If you see the pixels in pixel art, nobody cares, because you are perfectly aware that if you create pixel art, probably you will see the pixels. So like where in photography a lot of graphicians say, oh yeah, it's really bad because like we have here that staircase effect. In pixel art you just go, yeah, that's just the whole point of pixel art. So yeah, you know that if you make a line which is not horizontal or vertical, that you see the pixels. Yeah, but it's digital. It's a digital form of art. And we embrace those limitations. We want to have those limitations. We say like the creativity emerges out of limiting ourselves, and we choose those restrictions. Like they are not given to us by some system, or we don't have those restrictions because we want to create like that simulation of reality. Nah, pixel artists say to themselves, okay, what happens if I choose this restriction, this restriction, this restriction, and what happens then? So the core difference why pixel art became an art movement from the 20th century, where every piece of art on a PC had to be pixel art, and of the 21st century, where the pixel artist consciously really choose to do that, it's a whole different level of philosophy and approach. And the examples I showed you and the art I showed you, which did that, got recognized for it. So we also should recognize pixel art for having those limitations and wanting to play around with this. So, what are the core beliefs? What do we really want with pixel art? We want to have intention. Intention is that every dot we put there has a meaning. Perception is interpretation, is a really big concept. We will come to that with a lot of visual examples. And the other thing is resourcefulness, because at some point pixel art starts to break and we start running into a clash where the resolution gets so big that the single pixel doesn't matter anymore. I also will talk about that. So, shortly to intention. There are a lot of people who say, okay, pixel art is a pixelized image. No, that's just simply not true. We had like games which downsampled photographies. We can take a picture and we can just rescale it in our computer. And according to the first printed terms of pixel art, that would be true. But what we want to do with pixel art and what I call intention is like we have the image which is high resolution and we scale it down. So now we end up with a blurry mess. We can see it in the first image up here. It doesn't look sharp. There is no intention behind. There is no There is no meaning behind every pixel. That's just a pixelized image. Then people say, okay, good, we have infinite colors. So on that I just slapped a color filter, so then I have all those colors into, I don't know, 16 or something. Here in this example I just downsampled it to 16 colors, and then, yeah, we get pixel art. No, that's also not how we end up with pixel art, because that intention is missing. And it means, yeah, you have a picture which has limited colors, but it doesn't read, like it's just not clear. And then we look at the pixel art and what we did with the pixel art, and suddenly we will see, oh, it's really crisp. Oh, there is like a beautiful, beautiful pattern in those shapes. There is something more to it. Probably you don't see it. Probably nobody told you that it's even there. But once you really get to it, and once you really look at a lot of pixel art, like subconsciously you will feel, oh, this looks really brilliant, this looks really sharp, this looks really good. I don't know what it is. I can't point my finger on it, but generally you feel it, you just can't name it. This is intention. That means it's sharper, and no matter what example we do, if we really apply the intention to it, that picture will just be super sharp, super well considered, and it will be really clear to the viewer, and you can't achieve this level just with some filter. So filters and pixel art are two different things, and everybody who learned to see the patterns in pixel art immediately will recognize what is downsampled, what is color reduced, and what is pixel art. And we can do that in art. Like there is in art school, a lot of people, they come and they sit down and they draw still lifes. They just draw, like, you put up like all those things on the table and you just try to copy color, to copy like the shape, the perspective. It's like its own practice thing for illustration. We can do that with pixel art, but whenever somebody draws something hyper-realistic as a still life and puts it in the internet, people go like, oh, it's so realistic, it's so cool, it's so good. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that which gets really well received. We can do it with pixel art, but if we do it with pixel art, it's not the filter, as I said. It's like that everything was considered, and if you run that same image through that filter, it never will look the same. And then at the end you end up with some pixel art which is similar to a painting. I mean, stuff like this probably hangs in a museum if it's made with oil. I mean, just think about it, how many of those pictures are in the museum. It's absolutely the same. So that is what really, really makes pixel art. Perception is interpretation. That's what I call the concept. And a lot of you will know the nice Italian plumber, and a lot of you will know that sprite, because probably it's one of the most famous sprites we ever saw. I just used it. I made it sharp, so excuse me on that. But if we see like those three colors and those shapes, a lot of us will see like that human, and a lot of us will have like that perception in the brain of what Mario is. Like, we have a mind play. You read a lot more into this than there is. So some of you probably will say, oh, Mario, like he's that really nice Italian plumber, and he is like really soft, and he has hairy arms, and he is like really gentle, and you project that thing in it from yourself. And then you ask the next person, and they say, oh yeah, that's Mario, he's really angry, he's jumping on all those turtles, he's super muscular, and he's really fast and angry, and he smashes them. But once we start moving single pixels around in the same sprite, we see like, oh, that's not Mario anymore. That's probably somebody completely different. And like the whole thing we put into this, the whole perception we have of that, it completely changes with a couple of pixels. And as pixel artists, we really need the intention behind the pixels, and we really need to be aware of perceptions, interpretation, that we know like every pixel that we change can really, really change like what the viewer immediately thinks. We can go deeper with this a lot of you will have seen those images. There is something which is called a Deccan interpretation in the classic arts. Like we have a lot of images which flip around. They became really popular in around 1900. There was a lot of that stuff going on, like the picture with the duck or rabbit, like it's just flipping. Like if you read it from the left to right, you will see the duck. If you read it from the right to the left, you will see the rabbit. We also have My Wife or Mother-in-Law by William Ellie Hill. It was not created by him, but this interpretation is, and you can see like if you look at that part, you can see the young woman. If you look at the whole thing, you can see the old woman. That's exactly the same effect which is in play with pixel art. So we have a lot of those old sprites from games, and probably the artists back then, they were not really aware that this is there, that perception is interpretation is there. And they wanted to achieve something which is on the left. But you look at the sprite, and a lot of people immediately jump onto the conclusion on the right. So what is that? Is that just like, are the people who are reading the sprite wrong? Or was just the artist who created this not really skilled enough at managing the perception play, at really getting the people where they wanted to have them? And the most beautiful thing about it is, there is a difference between that personal interpretation we have and the detail. So we had that before with the simulation of reality. We have that sprite that's from Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery. A game came out in 2011. If you would give that same image to an artist and they would just increase the detail, you would end up with something on the left. So now you have all those beautiful shapes, you see all that detail, you can tell a lot more about the character, probably about the culture. Like there is a whole lot, probably world building going into it, there is a whole lot of those things going into it, but the personal projection goes down. Like you look at the thing on the left and you see the same, like everybody sees the same. The more detail we put into it, the less personal projection we have. And we have the image on the right. Probably you saw that sprite and you say, oh yeah, it's a funny monster, it's bumped up to 11. Like you see the face on the chest and it's like that goose which has the egg on the head, and you come up with that. And that's just, probably nobody would see that, or a few people do, but like that's that personal level, and you start losing that personal projection with the more detail you put in. And once you know that this is there, and once you know that people have like that personal bond with the art, do you really want to change that? Because a lot of people say there's a charm to pixel art. In my opinion, the charm to pixel art is exactly the bond everybody who looks at it creates and interprets into it. So take a couple of seconds, look at this image. And now we can play with perception. So probably I ask now the audience, who of you saw the first image? Please raise your arms. So please, everyone in the audience, especially in the first rows, also look around. Please raise your arms. So who saw the first image? Who saw the second image? Who saw the third image? And now if I ask you who saw something completely else, probably all of you would raise their hands, because there is a lot of personality going on. And yeah, once we are aware of that and once we get really good at that, we really can play with this. We can use that concept and we can play with it in meaningful ways, and we really can delight the viewer with the possibility to give them different interpretations, which is also really good. Because if there is like no incense in detail which says you, oh, it looks like that, you are completely free to project yourself into it, which is, I think, really awesome. Resourcefulness. That's a concept which just arises out of how pixel art comes together. So pixel art is really strong in patterns and projections. So patterns is, we had that in cross-stitch, that you just take the same thing, the same cluster of shapes, and you put it next to each other. Pixel art is really good at this because computers are really good at this. Digital things are really good at this. There is a concept in pixel art, or really prevalent in pixel art, which is called tiles. 2D art also does it, where you just draw like the same thing and you paste it 100 times and you create worlds and you can cut down on like drawing time. And projection is, I mean, a lot of you probably are familiar with 3D. There are two cameras, like there's a perspectivic camera where the vanishing points go together and you get like a perspectivic image, and you have a projection where the vanishing points go into infinity and the whole thing just loops, which is really good for 2D games. Pixel art is really strong at this. The core concept of pixel art and how we improve pixel art is called readability. So pixel art is not concerned with resolution. You choose the resolution. You just work with what you have. You choose your colors. But what we are concerned with, and it really plays into intention, is readability. You really consider everything down to the smallest detail. You consider the colors really, really carefully. You consider the shapes really carefully. You consider the outline really carefully. You consider like how you represent everything in there, every single pixel in there really carefully, because every pixel you put could have a completely different impact on the viewer. So, and with readability, we want to make the result we want to make it clear, and we want to improve the pixel art to that level where it gets really clear and where it gets brilliant and where the colors work really well together. So do that if you want to improve pixel art. Don't slap a bilinear filter on it, don't scale it up, improve readability. And the beautiful thing here again, readability changes. Once you have a different background, once something in the image changes, the whole readability changes. So here we have like the same sprite in 6 different styles, and we have 4 different backgrounds, and we see like on different backgrounds different versions of the sprite read better. So in games probably we have different backgrounds where we probably need something which is stronger or less strong. Also a lot of that plays into taste, but the core thing is whatever is there in the image, it will change the image. So you model your readability based on all the possibilities there will be. If it's a painting, you have it simple, you do it like for that painting. If you have something which is moving, which is an animation, a lot more variables to take into consideration. But you always need to approach pixel art from the standpoint of readability. Resolution increases quadratically. That's just how it is. So a lot of people say, oh yeah, okay, so let's make a slight change. Let's just double the resolution. But doubling the resolution in pixel art usually means we go from 4 pixels, if like 2 by 2, if we increase it to 16 pixels, which is 4 by 4 pixels. And because we need to have the intention with every single pixel, and we run into danger that every single pixel can change the impression, that yeah, it gets a lot more work. So twice the resolution in pixel art doesn't mean twice the work, it means a lot more work, and we just run into levels where the amount of work and the importance of the single pixel on the canvas, they just don't match up anymore, because we lose like that interpretation levels of the pixel art. Same is if we increase the resolution, we also need more colors. So where we can fake something like gradient. So in pixel art we don't have gradients, but you just place different colors next to each other, and in the viewer's mind, the viewer will read it as a gradient. But once you increase the resolution, you need more colors to achieve that same effect. And also the more colors you manually put in, the more time it takes. So like bigger resolution needs more colors to look smooth, to achieve the same level of quality by the viewer. You run into all those issues with the perception, with the interpretation, and you lose like those pixel advantages. So we reach a point where pixel art breaks, and we ask ourselves, could high resolution pixel art exist? Is it a good thing? Because, yeah, okay. First of all, high resolution pixel art where we just have those pixel techniques and which we just have the intention. This can exist and this exists. The techniques we put into pixel art are not connected to the resolution. But yeah, as I said, like the resolution also increases. Like if you have a small image, 1 pixel takes up more space on the canvas, and if you have a big resolution, the same pixel takes up less space on the canvas. So we can do hyper-realistic pixel art. This is painted, so that's just a study I made in 2013. So this is pixel art, has 32 colors. We can really if we look really closely, like we can see the shape play, that here are a lot of 2x2 clusters. We can see like, oh yeah, the highlight, it's just put in there and then I put around like another color. It doesn't matter, the image is photorealistic, it's there, all the considerations are there. But what we don't have here, we don't have the perceptionist interpretation effect in play. So everybody of you sees the cherries, and everybody of you here sees the same cherries. So we lost this, we still have all the pixel art techniques into it. I mean, yeah, okay, those are cherries, so could we do it like with something more interesting? Yes, we can do it with characters. We can do it with something which looks like 3D. We can just paint it. We can have all those pixel techniques bumped up to 11 in high resolution images, and if you look like at the detail, it's like quite interesting because nobody of you would have thought that is pixel art. Yes, it's pixel art, but I mean, we lost the interpretation aspect of it. It still has limited colors, it has all those things in it which make the pixel art. And then we ask ourselves, what is this? This is, I would call it style. And style is a choice. Pixel art is not a style. Pixel art is a mindset. Pixel art is something we want to do. Pixel art is something where we want to limit ourselves. We can do it on any resolution, we can do it in any quality, we can do it whatever we want. We are only limited by our artistic capabilities, but the point is not that we do it because it's simple or because we can't draw or because we can't do those things. We do it because we are not after a simulation of reality. We are after a perception play with the viewer. We are after getting like the management of the colors, playing around within set restrictions and getting really creative with the things we have and getting the most out of it. So after considering all those points, after this quite lengthy discussion, what is pixel art? And the only answer we have to this is that pixel art is an art movement of the 21st century. And probably we grew out of computer restrictions. And we have the first pixel artists who coined the term, they were programmers. The whole concept changed. There are a lot of young pixel artists, and there are thousands of pixel artists around the world, and there are a lot of people drawn to the ideas of it, and a lot of people who like looking at that, and a lot of people who really, really like that way of art. And all those pixel artists and the whole philosophical approach to it proves that pixel art is an art movement of the 21st century. There are a lot of communities in the internet. That's just a small selection which I could put on here. There is a lot of stuff on Twitter. There's a lot of stuff on Reddit going on. Pixel Dailies is really nice if you love looking at pixel art. There is a gallery in the internet which is called Pixel Joint. It's up for years. There's a forum, pixelation.org, where a lot of artists get critiqued. There are tons of Discord servers. Discord really popular at the moment. So if you are into it, get into touch with whatever community you like. Probably there's a community I didn't point out there. As I said, it's a selection. There are so many pockets and so many countries, so many languages, which are probably not English, which I don't understand, and I didn't have the insight. But fact is, there's a lot of pixel art around. There are tons of pixel artist community around, and we do pixel art because we want it.